Well, Ruben Amorim, in the press conference he conducted ahead of the game of Fulham that we're going to be playing on Sunday, that is tomorrow, has come up and obviously told us the punishment he has gone ahead to give to Garnacho. I've gone ahead to obviously see very many people into the comment section asking me, Rokani, why haven't you obviously gone ahead obviously address the issue of Garnacho, and what was this issue all about? United got a red card in the 43rd minute. That was Dogu was obviously sent off. Patrick Dogu of Manchester United, he was sent off. And when he was sent off, guess what went ahead to happen? What went ahead to happen was, one, the manager had to obviously take off one forward because we had three forwards. That is, were they three? We had Garnacho on, Rasmus Højlund. We also had Joshua Zirkzee. So what the manager did was to take off Alejandro Garnacho, and Alejandro Garnacho in protest came up, talked to the manager, and walked to the dugout. And walked to the tunnel of Manchester United. But there is something that there is a video I watched, and he was sending a message that I'm going to obviously change the t-shirt, and everyone was like, does he always changes? Has he ever gone ahead obviously change a t-shirt after being taken off? You know, because in very many games has been taken off, but not in such a situation. You understand? And the manager, after the game of Ipswich that we won by 3-2, he came up and obviously told us that he will address it yesterday. And obviously he kept his promise, and he really told us what punishment he was going to obviously give Garnacho. Garnacho has been punished, and it's not the first time that Garnacho is being punished under Ruben Amorim. I think this is the second or third time, because he's really one of those players that are really, really, really very disturbing, but with some talent in him. So continue to subscribe to this channel because we want to hit 20,400 subscribers on this channel, and don't forget to obviously go ahead and obviously smash the like button close to 100 times. And first and foremost, the manager of Manchester United came up and told us that Garnacho is a young kid that will learn. The important thing is that in the next morning, he was speaking with me. Zirkzee did the same thing, walking down the tunnel, but the context was different. He can deal with that, and let's just move on. Yeah, Joshua Zirkzee was taken off. I don't know which game we are really playing. And for him, it was not even about the red card, because for him, it was really worse. He was taken off around, I think, the 20th, 30th minute, and Kobe Mainoo was brought on. What Joshua Zirkzee did was to obviously walk to the tunnel, and he went there and obviously sobbed. After sobbing, he obviously returned back onto the dugout where his fellow players were really sitting. But for Garnacho, I think he went, and I don't remember him coming back onto what we call the substitutions benches, where he's supposed to obviously be that. But the manager says he was in there and he waited. His players obviously returned after the game of football was done and dusted, and he obviously joined the team, and after he left together with the team. So he's a young player and he's a kid and will have to learn, and the important thing is that next morning he was speaking with the manager. So I think the manager is trying to protect the player, but what he did was not good. Let's all admit what he did was not all that good. Then he added and said, Garnacho came to see me in my office. I asked about it, and he went to the locker room to change because he was soaked. There is no problem. I told him that everything is important at the club, so he's going to buy food for them. So the manager is like, I'm really giving him a punishment. Not like that one I gave him for Man City, not being part of the squad. But one, Garnacho will have to buy food for the team. So he's going to buy food for the entire squad. And that squad really has close to 30 players, or 40. You understand? Plus those of the academy that train with the first team. If he's to spend like £100 on a player per player, that means he's yet to spend £4,000 on that entire team. That's the punishment that the manager has gone ahead to obviously give Alejandro Garnacho. And I really credit Ruben Amorim for doing that, because all I know is that if you're really grooming such players, you need to obviously punish them for everything they're really doing. And he has gone ahead to state it out very well that everything is important at the club. Remember, when Ronaldo was told to obviously come on when you're beating Spurs, you know, I think that game ended 2-1, and Erik ten Hag was trying to bring him on to play only 7 minutes of the remaining time for the referee to obviously put the whistle onto his mouth. What Ronaldo did was to obviously say no, and he went ahead to really walk to the tunnel. You understand? And he was punished, he was fined, and later he led his own departure from the club of Manchester United. That is Cristiano Ronaldo for you. And he was told not to train with the first team, and he couldn't apologize, and he came up and obviously put out an interview with Piers Morgan, an Arsenal fan who really loves Ronaldo and defends him whether he does good or bad. And that interview was put out. There was no way back for Manchester United and Ronaldo. Contract was terminated, and he left for the World Cup, and then he went ahead obviously sign for Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. So the manager is like, I don't want this boy to turn into a Ronaldo. But even for Ronaldo, he never acted like that when he was really young. But when you grow up at the age of Ronaldo and you've gone ahead to do what he has gone ahead to do, you feel like you've earned the right to really play every game and start every game. But remember, under Erik ten Hag, he was like, Ronaldo is not obviously going to play every game for me. You understand? Because he cannot be that player who is a pressing monster, and his link-up play was really lacking, and obviously his intensity was not really up to the levels. So that's why the manager used to start Anton Martial and not Ronaldo, or Marcus Rashford led the line most of the times that season. So Amorim is punishing Garnacho because he knows to it that there is something he needs to obviously get out of him. And when Ronaldo was at that age, he never did that. And for Ronaldo to do that, he was almost at the climax of his career. But for Garnacho, he's doing this at the kickstart of his career, which might obviously affect him. Remember, it's not the first time that Garnacho is doing this. When Erik ten Hag came in here, he spotted him as one of the best young stars from the academy. You understand? And then he was really indisciplined. And that's why you saw to it that when you went to Thailand, when you went to Australia, you know, to do that preseason, Erik ten Hag never at any one point came up to really give him minutes. Even when he made a wholesome change, he never gave him minutes. Yet he rated him highly and knew he hit that he was one of those players that was to be part of his season. And even when the season started, Garnacho always made it to the bench, but the manager never obviously unleashed him. Not until Garnacho attained the discipline that Erik ten Hag wanted, that's when he obviously brought him back onto the field of play. You understand? So even towards the game of Man City, I think there are things that he did, and the manager went ahead obviously get him out of the squad because of his discipline issue. So the manager is like, he's young and he needs to be handled. Remember, he's clocking 20, I think, this year. But I think Garnacho should obviously come up and obviously understand that discipline is paramount in the game of football. If he continues to be indisciplined, he'll cost himself, like teams won't be wanting to sign him at his young age, provided however good he is, because they'll be like, he is good, but he's obviously indisciplined, and no manager would love to obviously have a undisciplined player in his team. So that's the punishment that Ruben Amorim has gone ahead obviously give the youngster that is Garnacho. He also went ahead obviously tell us something that I believe is preparing us for the news if at all Garnacho is not part of the game of Fulham on Sunday. He told us that Garnacho picked up a knock on a shot against Ipswich. I expect him to be ready for Sunday, but we'll see. We will have to wait until tomorrow. Now, I think picking up a knock, why didn't he really get out immediately when he picked a knock? So you think, so he picked up a knock and he was delayed to play the minutes until we got a red card. I think he's just preparing us to really let us know that Garnacho is out of the game of Fulham because he went ahead to get a knock, as I told you earlier. So this obviously sends us a message that the lad might obviously be out of action in this game. So please, let's wait and see how that pans out. But it's really going to be very important for us to see to it that all goes on well as planned for the club of Manchester United. But Alejandro Garnacho has been punished by the manager. I'm returning with a match preview. United versus Fulham, a game that's going to be played at Old Trafford on Sunday. Very tricky. Very, very, very tricky. If you remember, last season in the FA Cup, you know, Man United, to go to, was it Wembley? If at all I'm not mistaken, there is a season where we had to obviously face the side of Fulham. You understand? And Sancho was there. Who else was there? I think it was the season of 2022. The Marcel Sabitzas were here and they went ahead of his. I think it was the season of 2022, 2023. You know, that's when we had to obviously knock out Fulham. You know, Fulham went ahead, obviously lead, I think by 1 goal, and they got a red card. You know, was it Mitrovic? You know, and we got a penalty and we leveled. Bruno Fernandes scored and even Sabitzer went ahead to score. I think that's the first season of Eric Ten Hag. We went and obviously played Brighton in the semi-finals of the FA Cup and we beat them by 7-6, you know. So, yeah, we beat Fulham by 3-1. It was the quarterfinals at Old Trafford, you understand? But this time round, they're really coming in a better, more shape as a side. I sign out for now. See you later. Bye-bye.